Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Vanille here. I hope you had an amazing weekend, an awesome Halloween, and you're off to the start of a great week. For the record, I ended up finding a costume last minute in my basement. I dressed up as a pirate and wore Passe Soie by BDK. So today I wanted to dig into some samples that I've been playing with over the past several days. These are samples that I received from Lucky Scent, so I only have 1 milliliter samples. I've been playing with them on my skin. I have them here on tester strips, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you. As you probably know, and I mentioned before, I am digging deeper and deeper into niche fragrances and trying to figure out what I like, what I don't like. Being a gourmandie, I'm honing in on those fragrances that I might really enjoy in that realm. I have samples, tons of samples from House of Sillage, from Etat Libre de Range. I also have Commodity, several miscellaneous samples that I received from Lisa Ricketts. If you follow any of the forums, you may be familiar with her name. I have some from Lucky Scent and a friend sending other samples to me as well. So really just trying to play with a ton of different perfumes and develop an opinion on them. Today I wanted to share my ratings, my first impressions on several of these fragrances that I received from Lucky Scent. I'm really excited about them because on a scale of 1 to 10, all of them land more so on this 10 range. They're all great fragrances. Most of them are heavily into the gourmand category. So without further ado, I'll jump right in and share my thoughts with you. The first fragrance that I have here is Accident à la Vanille, and this is by Jousset Perfumes. Apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly. I'll put it up here. This is a fragrance that I've been seeing a ton of in the forums recently. It seems that a lot of people are talking about this one. This was released recently in 2021, and I find this to be a delicious gourmand scent. I agree with everything that I've seen on this one so far, which is that it is warm, it's a buttery toffee type scent. In the notes for this fragrance, there is a lot of vanilla. In the top you have vanilla, in the heart you have vanilla and sandalwood, and in the base you have vanilla and styrax. Some people say that this is similar to Tihota, and I can see why people would say that. There is a little bit of that vanilla that you find in Tihota, but to me that fragrance leans a whole lot more kind of burnt sugar, a little bit more musky to me, whereas this one leans a whole lot more sweet, decadent, buttery, warm, and cozy. Don't get me wrong, I do think Tihota is a beautiful fragrance, but there was something about that burnt sugar aspect, that musky aspect that I wasn't totally crazy about, and I really enjoy the way vanilla is done in this one. I personally feel like I'm getting a little bit of nuttiness in this fragrance, similar to how it's done in Cheirosa 71 by Sol de Janeiro. I feel like there's a little bit of macadamia nut hint in here, or hazelnut, some sort of nuttiness that is bringing warmth in this fragrance, but it's not listed in the notes profile. To me, this is completely genderless. I think anyone can wear this fragrance and feel comfortable wearing it. I find it to be smooth, it's beautiful, and I find this to definitely be full bottle worthy for those people that really love sweet, decadent, gourmand fragrances. I rank this one an 8.5 out of 10, a really beautiful fragrance that I will consider adding into my collection. Again, this one is Accident à la Vanille by Jousset Perfumes. The next fragrance I have here is Awake by Akro, and this is a very well done coffee scent. I think anyone who is really interested in coffee fragrances should get their nose on this because it is a beautifully done fragrance. In the note structure for this one, you have coffee, you have cardamom, Haitian vetiver, and Italian lemon. This one is classified as a citrus gourmand, and I definitely get a little bit of that lemon citrus in this one, but primarily when I smell this fragrance, I get a very heavy coffee accord. I'm actually really interested in comparing Awake to some of the other coffee fragrances that I've played with. Specifically, what comes to mind is Coffee Addict by Theodoros, Kalotinis, as well as Arabica Rose by Be Layered. I feel like this one leans a little bit in the middle of both of those, where I thought Coffee Addict was a little bit sharp, it was a little bit dark coffee, and I thought Arabica Rose was creamy and rich, kind of like walking into a coffee shop. This one is right down the middle. There's a warm spiciness in this one because of the cardamom that I find to be addictive. I love coffee. It's one of my very favorite scents. I love to start my day off with coffee. So I really do enjoy the scent profile of this one. I find it to be very well done. And I think anyone who really likes sweet, spicy coffee scents should get their nose on this one and see if it's your type of coffee fragrance. I do have a couple other fragrances that I really want to try that have coffee in them, specifically Over the Chocolate Shop and Follow by Kerosene. But once I've tried those, I'd love to do another coffee fragrance review and share my thoughts on how these rank and how they compare to one another. Overall, I ended up ranking this fragrance an 8 out of 10. I love the scent of coffee. I'm not totally sure with how much this smells like coffee if I'd want to wear it on a regular basis and bring a full bottle into my collection, but this is a solid offering from the Akro brand, a beautiful scent. Again, this is Awake by Akro. The next fragrance that I have here is probably going to be a little bit of a mouthful for me to say, so I'll put it up here as well. This is Noir Exquis, and this is by L'Artisan Parfumeur. Let me know if I'm saying that incorrectly. This is one that I've seen a ton of recommendations for on the forums. This one has stunning notes in it. Chestnut, the maple sap, the coffee, the ebony, the tonka bean, vanilla, sandalwood, heliotrope. This one is sweet, and the standout notes for me really are the chestnut and the vanillic woodiness that I get here, and I get a little bit of underlying spice. I agree with some people who say that this shares some similarities with By the Fireplace by the Replica brand, although I do find this one to be a little bit sweeter. It has more of that chestnut vibe to it, so if you don't like chestnut in your fragrances, you may not like this one, but this one seems to be a little bit more refined, whereas I think some people might say that By the Fireplace is a little bit sharp. This one is very, not soft. Soft is not the right word, but I think refined might be a better word to describe how this compares to By the Fireplace. I would actually really love to do a side-by-side, this, not that, epic fragrance battle comparing these two because it is similar. I'd love to get them on my hands and see how they compare with one another in a side-by-side comparison. This is a lovely scent, and I do find it to be full bottle worthy, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy this one. I don't think I would pull this into my collection at this point in time because I do have a little bottle of By the Fireplace by Replica that I'm not wearing that frequently. Maybe more so in the winter months, this might be one that I consider pulling into my collection. I rank this a 7.5 out of 10, a nice scent, one I enjoy, I think a lot of people will like. Again, this is Noir Exquis by L'Artisan Parfumeur. The next fragrance I have here is one I've been really excited to try for quite some time. This is What About Pop by the House of Oud. This is a fragrance that smells a lot like a sweet, salty, caramelic popcorn. I find this to be a pretty scent, and the more I smell it, the more I want to smell it. I find this one becomes a little bit addictive. As you smell it, you want to keep smelling it over time. This is sweet, but it's not overly so. What I really like in this one is this spicy, woody scent profile that rounds out the base. The notes have ebony listed here, and when I looked up what ebony might smell like, it's a decorative wood. It's used where a darker woody element is desired, and you definitely get some of that dark woodiness from this scent. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit on the fence with this one, whether I'd want a full bottle or not. This is unique. It has that beautiful ebony in the base. It really rounds out the fragrance. It's a pretty scent, but I'm not sure this is one that I would reach for on a regular basis over some of the other gourmands that I have in my collection. And this fragrance is by the House of Oud, which is a little bit of a luxury niche brand. This comes at a high price, so I'm not sure I'd really want to be buying this fragrance unless I was able to get it on a steal. I want to continue to play with this one. This is one that I do like, that it's a nice scent. I'm just not sure that I would reach for this over other gourmands that I have in my collection. I'll play with it over time, but right now I'm going to go ahead and rank this one a 7 out of 10. Again, this is What About Pop by the House of Oud. The last fragrance I have on this list is Remember Me by Jovoy Paris. This is one that I thought I would absolutely adore because the ratings on this one are so high. Looking at the accords, the first 3 accords that I see are warm, spicy, lactonic, and vanilla, and that really roped me into this one. But those are not the accords that I personally am picking up from this fragrance. I'm getting quite a bit more of that aromatic quality than I wanted to pick up, and a little bit more of a floral accord than I would prefer. There is no question that this is a really pretty scent, but like another person had said in the reviews, this one was just a little bit more bright, a little bit more crisp than I had expected from the initial spray. Again, I really thought this was going to be a warm, comforting, cozy gourmand, and to me, I just get far more of that aromatic quality than I thought I would. Now in this fragrance you have ginger and tea, and I sort of wonder if that's where I'm getting that aromatic quality from. This one actually has kind of a comforting, soothing feel to it, a little bit like you get in Mon Guerlain. And while this doesn't have lavender in the notes, I kind of feel like I'm getting a little bit of that vibe that you get from the Mon Guerlain fragrance. It doesn't smell like it, really has some similarities, but that soothing quality is in this perfume. This is one I need to keep playing with. It is rated so highly that I feel like I'm missing something from this one. At this point in time, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I'm just not crazy about how that aromatic, almost spiciness plays in with some of the warmer notes, but I will continue to play with this because it is unique. I enjoy fragrances that have a ginger quality. I tend to like warm spiciness from cardamom and the cedar that's in here, and I tend to like fragrances that have a little bit of a tea aspect. So I will continue to play with this one and give an update if my thoughts change on this, but for now I rank this one a 6.5 out of 10. Again, this is Remember Me by Jovoy Paris. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I truly appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video of fragrances I'm playing around with and ranked in this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I hope you have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. And until next time, I'll see you soon.